Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. My name is Vol'jin. I'm here today with Trojan Dude, and we've got for you the third of our prelimination stage matches between Rivid and Richard. Trojan, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing great, Fula. How about yourself, man?
Well, I'm doing pretty all right, both of us managing to pull off PBs in the last 2 days, huh? Feels pretty good.
Yeah. How about that, man? It's pretty sweet.
Indeed. Well, we've got a pretty cool matchup today between Rivid and Richard. Why don't you tell us a little bit about these two runners?
Yes, of course. So this is a really interesting matchup for a couple different reasons. I'll start off with talking about Richard a little bit. So Richard, as you can see from his, I loved his goal on here that he put stats overlay. Good production quality. He is the guy who's been making all these stats overlays, the tournament overlays, a lot of this stuff in restreaming. He's been pretty much like the main head manager of the truck behind the scenes. So he's been putting a lot of effort into that. I know he's finally gotten to get some practice time in the last 3 days, which is good because his PB is still over 40. And he was with an average of 45.06. He was the second to last seed coming out of groups. But since he's been able to get some practice, maybe he'll get something around his PB or even PB during the race today. And then as far as Rivid, he is one of the higher seeds on this, and he started off, he had pretty much just learned the run right before the tournament, and as you can see from his current PB versus improvement, his current PB is a 36:38, which is an improvement of 11 and a half minutes since the tournament started, which is absolutely insane. And on top of that, as you can see right there in the miscellaneous, he has PB'd in every single race of the group stage. So we could see another PB here, although with a 36 and a half-ish time, it's gonna be really hard to beat in a race setting. There's a lot more pressure, but you never know. So I'm definitely, it'll be interesting to see how both these guys do in the race.
Agreed. It's definitely, the case that it'll be harder to PB when your time is like a 36. It'll be harder to, get sub 36:30 in a race setting, even if you're going up against an opponent where, maybe you'll have some confidence because you feel like I have a good chance of winning this race. But I think he's not really going to be focused too much on trying to get another race PB here. More likely, he's going to be looking to meet his other goal there, which is to win a race. And he definitely has a good chance today. No shots at Richard at all. I love him because he has done a fantastic job helping us make this tournament a huge success. But unfortunately, that has come at a cost of some practice time for him, and he hasn't been able to kind of get where he really has wanted to get with this game. So we'll see. Both runners kind of expressing their own, concerns about this race. I know Rivid was talking about. He said in the race chat, "I've completely lost my ability to climb to the mini boss in Misty Woods." So that, that's a little bit concerning, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
I also just saw Rivid type in chat PB or forfeit because he maybe heard us or something. So that's pretty good.
Goodness.
More with runners. But yeah, so with Richard, yeah, we're expecting a Rivid win here, but like to Richard's sake and stuff, there have been a couple runs. He's gotten some of the tricks within 1 or 2 tries, and that's really good for a guy who doesn't even have a sub 40 time yet. And as we saw from the race just earlier today between Snoopy and Pyrox, like that ended up being an insanely close race, and their separation in PBs was massive. And then we had Jella, coming out with an upset over Smash Police. So this prelimination races have actually been really interesting so far, and I can't wait to see what this one actually brings.
Indeed. And you're going to see on those stats, as we're going to get this race started very shortly, you see on those stats some of those smaller numbers and some of those bigger numbers. These runners are definitely going to want to get the smaller numbers in terms of number of tries it takes them to get through each race. Each trick. So now we are going to get that race kicked off. We will see that start up on screen pretty shortly. There is, of course, some Twitch delay. But we're going to see our very first glimpse of some action here tonight when we find out how these runners do on their prologue skips.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I heard Menuing is impossible in this game. So
It is actually impossible.
yeah, so we'll see. The first skip of the game, can they get the skip?
Let's see what we got. Richard with a clean prologue skip. Rivid also clean prologue skip. We'll get the stream synced up momentarily. And there they are, and we are off. We're seeing a color code on Richard's side, and he is able to come up with that lovely pink, which is beautiful. Rivid opting to skip the color code, not a bad choice. And we're going to be on our way here at the beginning of this race. Trojan, if you think we're going to see maybe one of these racers, hit some trouble spots first, which one do you think we're going to see hit something like that?
I think you always have to bring up Blackroot Burrows as the first area. Like pretty much the wall jump to dash split is one of the hardest things for runners to like optimize when they're running the game. I put it second behind Sorrow Pass, and there's just a lot of intricacies and a lot of areas that, depending on how much of a health you have. Oh, Rivet accidentally walking past the sign a little bit right there. But yeah, it's like one of those areas, like depending on, your health going into the Blackroot Burrows, it could kill you or not kill you at certain points in it. And some of those deaths are really costly.
Indeed. Richard getting a pretty clean start on his early game movement. Rivet had some slight hiccups, but not too bad. They're both coming out pretty cleanly from the Frankie fight, and Richard is going to open up around a 2-second lead early on. Definitely nothing to, write home about just yet, but every little bit potentially could count. Both runners skipping the damage on the Bramble there, and they're going to be looking to get their health down pretty low while also picking up a fair bit of XP along the way.
Yeah, and I'm totally okay with runners skipping that Bramble. It's something that's just kind of a little minor optimization that the top runners use in order to get some damage on yourself like a little bit earlier. But in a race setting like this, it's definitely safer to not take that damage and just safely take a long jump over it.
Indeed, and they both did manage to take 1 damage, so they're going to be able to boost to the slime. Richard having a little bit of spaghetti with that rock. It's giving him some problems, and actually maybe he did take a 2nd damage because he barely dodged that slime shot. But he did manage to get past the slime after just taking a little extra time to kill it. He had health to spare.
Yeah, I think he miscounted his health a little bit right there, or he was playing it really safe, although he almost didn't play it very safe at that slime shot.
It is also possible he got a drop somewhere along the way.
Yeah, totally. The crazy thing about some of the enemies in this game, like those slimes, those things, you would think like, oh, they shoot out like 3 like shots that look completely just weird. Oh, these guys can't hit me, but little do you know, those guys are the ultimate snipers in the game, and they will make your life very sad.
Absolutely trained 360 no-scope sniping slimes. They're pretty incredible. Rivet is coming through the Bramble Wall right now. He looks to be probably on good XP pace. I didn't see him miss anything in particular. Richard might be a little low, but he opts to blow up all the Brambles, so now he's fine. And he's going to be able to get his level up. And I believe Richard is, Rivid, oh my goodness, is taking his on the way back.
That was a riveting attempt you had to say his name right there.
Thank you. I tried.
Yeah, no problem. So it's maybe about a 9-second difference at most between the runners. We'll see 100% certain. Yeah, about 8 seconds between them. Yep. So not a big difference so far at this point in the race. And then again, this is what I was talking about. There's a lot of things that can really throw you off on this one and really botch a lot of time. Even before you get into Blackroot Burrows, like some of the strats with the elbow area that Rivet's going to be coming up here soon.
And the Brambles that he just jumped past, if you run into those, that gives you 2 damage, and that's not a good time. We'll see if Richard is able to get past those safely, so that's always good. And yeah, there's many dangerous spots along the way here. Rivet doing the damage boost through the first slime and then jumping around them in the elbow. Richard coming up to the same spot. He unfortunately left that Bramble alive earlier, and he does not seem to know the contingency strat there, but he is able to do something that at least gets him out alive. picks up a health to kind of make up for that.
Yeah, being at 2 health right here is completely okay, because if you do proper movement, you at most should take like 1 extra damage on the way down to BRB. So that's not the worst thing in the world. So he's even opting to be really safe and get 2 health pickups. Not a bad strategy, and so that
Agreed.
makes him going into BRB a little bit safer.
Indeed, and we see Rivid pulling the save anywhere menu storage glitch and saving the game by learning a new ability as he triggers this cutscene here to enter Blackroot Burrows, so he is able to get through and skips around a 20-second cutscene. Richard doing the same trick right now as Rivid is descending into the terrifying abyss that is Blackroot Burrows. And here you're seeing what Trojan was referring to earlier. Everything around here is covered in spikes. They're all very deadly. There's these narrow platforms that bob up and down and easily can throw you off, and you can just miss them and fall to your death. It's a good time.
Oh, definitely, for sure. And everything is cycle-based, which makes it even better, so that if you miss a cycle, you completely rip 8 seconds, no matter which cycle it is. So, you'll see up here what Rivid's coming to. Like, all these lasers are all on a global timer, and is he gonna go for this?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah,
that was a little. If he actually had it, but he was a little bit nervy on it, and he just tried to be a little greedy with his movement to compensate, and unfortunately killed himself because of it.
And now they're basically tied. So little things like that in Blackroot Burrows can make your life miserable. Rivid this time is going to wait for it, which is going to allow Richard to get up a little sooner, but it might be the same cycle either way. We're going to see. Oh no, Rivid is going to miss an entire cycle, unfortunately.
Yep.
So that does cost him another 8 seconds or so compared to Richard.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, the cycle-based stuff can really make a difference in getting a lead or not getting a lead in here.
Indeed, and Richard making sure to, even after that, the early mistakes, kind of a little bit of spaghetti, but it wasn't enough where he took a death, and he made sure even when there was a likelihood of dying, he, just played a little safe, took a little bit of extra health, and that helped him stay alive long enough to get through Blackroot Burrows. So smart play by him.
Yeah, definitely. And then Richard had a relatively, it was a pretty medium level manipulation right there. I think the same with Rivid, so not really much time gainer saved right there.
Richard nearly missed the jump onto the second platform, but then he did opt to, I think he made a last second call. Maybe I will put the orb on the non-moving platform. But, it was kind of a last second decision, it looked like, so he almost missed it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty spooky... Oh, well, that's something that I haven't seen. So yeah, it doesn't matter what side of the pedestal you're on, but Richard decided, let's give the left side a little bit of love this time.
Speaking of which, Richard is drawing a heart on his screen. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So the deficit right now for Rivid still around 8 seconds. Not a huge difference in the rest of Blackroot Burrows, and definitely still absolutely anyone's race.
Yep. So now I think we have, funnily enough, we have about the same amount, just going the opposite way this time. It's about 5 seconds of a lead for Richard now. And now they're going into one of the other places, I think, is as we've seen throughout this this tournament, is one of the biggest killers of time, and that's Frankie Walk. We just saw earlier today, Snoopy died, I believe it was 2 times to Frankie Walk, and in countless other races, we've seen people die once or twice to it. So it seems like a pretty straightforward trick, just like what they're trying to do. But honestly, it's a very hard trick to learn. And that Frankie can be a little bit of a jerk sometimes.
Indeed, and I might have kind of stopped paying attention at just the wrong moment there, but I think Richard must have taken the safety save of the Spirit Well, because Rivid is now neck and neck with him. And 4 seconds is the amount of time that it costs for that safety save, so it definitely would line up with this change in the deficit. It's also worth mentioning that as they're going to get into Moon Grotto, as they both complete their Frankie walks, and we're going to see, I guess before I continue, we'll see if they're able to get across the moat. No problem for Richard. Rivid lures the Frankie into the water, so they're both safely through. Oh, Richard goes for the death glide, but he does not get it.
He got
But he
a health pickup.
survived.
Good lord.
Oh, wow. So, okay, everything's fine. Richard survives, Rivet survives, there's a slight lead change. The other thing here is as they descend into Gumo's hideout, Richard has only ever pulled off the early grotto cycle here one time ever. Now, Rivet has gone for it in his races, but he hasn't gotten it yet in the tournament. So are we going to see another 8 seconds here for Rivet? We do
Yeah,
see
wow.
another
Good
8
job
seconds.
by Rivid. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. So this race already early on has a lot of back and forth action, and I am frightened to see what's going to continue because I'm not sure how much my heart is going to take.
At this point, I'm not sure either. I think my heart was trying to decompress earlier, and now it's starting to recompress.
That is one way to put it.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
goodness.
So Richard's taking a slightly safer route down those that spike elbow, but they're both doing the little dash glide. Very nice by both of them. So about I would say about a 7-8 second lead for Rivet right now, and this is part of where Rivet could open up a lead now. Now that he's taken it. Because this is one of the areas that has a lot of optimized movement in it, like minor optimizations that can save you 1 to 2 seconds each. So we'll see who does this split going up to Ginso Tree better.
Indeed. And both runners making clean work of the movement on the way back from double jump. Richard took a brief amount of damage there. Rivet going for grotto skip here. This has been kind of hit or miss for both of these runners. He gets it on the second try. So 2 is kind of the magic number here. We're going to see if Richard's able to pull that off too. The average across this entire Gumo division is 2.4 attempts on grotto skip. Richard kind of missing 2 there. He had a half earlier, sort of, that he kind of missed, but then he gets it on the third try. So not too bad. That's not a huge difference maker yet. So that's pretty good for both of them.
Oh, and Rivet's having a little bit of problems with this that little ledge right there that you try to weave around and get up there. It's a little thing of optimized movement, but unfortunately, when you miss it one time, it actually wastes more time than actually going to the left wall and then back to the right.
And Richard having some trouble with some of these jumps as well. This wall climbing is actually not at all simple. This is one of the hardest movement sections in the early game, so it's very easy to kind of get tripped up by it. And both runners suffering a little bit, but I think it's around even. Maybe Rivet having a slight advantage from that movement.
Yeah, definitely. And so Rivet is coming up to the iceless area, and we'll see if there's a lot of really cool movement around this area. One of the favorites that I got to learn.
A quick note, Trojan. We do see Richard going for the 5th health cell, and I'd forgotten actually that he is one of the runners in the tournament who's doing this.
Yeah, that's correct. I also forgot to mention that as well. I thought he might not go for it, but looks like he's going for the completely safer strats for later on when you get to Sorrow Pass. It'll allow you to take 1 spike shot to the face and not die. So that'll pay dividends a little bit later and maybe earlier. We'll see. Who knows?
Gosh, let's hope not for his sake, but absolutely. And of course, the difference between 1 and 0 hits that you can take in Sorrow before you die is obviously fairly huge. Not too huge of a deficit right now, of course, and Richard is just coming through the iceless area as Rivet is going to the Ginso Tree door. So, still progressing pretty well. Rivet does seem to have picked up a bit more of an advantage over this section. As you mentioned, some of those little places where you can get slightly better movement here and there than your opponent. Rivet managed to do that and take just a slightly larger lead going into the Ginso Tree.
And oh man, I think Richard's gonna be able to make it. Yeah, he definitely saw that he had just made the back end of that. Oh, and he unfortunately takes 2 damage right there on one of the spin wheels. And he's still gonna damage boost through this guy because again, at 5 health, at that damage boost is a little bit safer. And he forgot to skip the cutscene, unfortunately. So he's gonna waste about another 8-9 seconds right there. So Rivet, on the other hand, has been making pretty good work of Ginso so far. He is coming up onto the portal room. Oh my, that spider shot was singeing Ori's tail right there. So, as Richard is going through the first room as well, he's going to be using his vertical platforms to scale and going into the cycle-based room with these gamers. This is definitely another area that we've seen in the tourney cause some issues for a lot of runners, and it's definitely harder than it seems because those gamers have a very like a larger hitbox than you would think, and so it's definitely one of the crazier parts of the of Gitso Tree.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that we've seen, that is not a particularly bad death for Richard, but yeah, one thing that we've seen, I think once or twice in this tournament, is that at least one runner has come up with the idea of saving right before doing that gamer room, and somehow that just hasn't caught on. I think Sigma talked about this earlier today, but it really should, because it's totally free. You have the energy to do it. Might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I might actually end up doing that in my races because it's such a nice save because it resets the camera. So if you do die, wow, I surprisingly Richard just decided to just let the swag drop right there on the elbow puzzle thing.
I think a long time ago that was considered the best way to guarantee that the log would fall in the way that it would redirect the projectile correctly. But we've actually determined that it's better to just keep pushing all the way into the portal. And I think Richard's strats in some cases are just a little outdated because he hasn't had time really to invest in keeping his game up to date.
Yeah, definitely. Rivid is having a little bit of problem with the flower right here. I think that one looks good.
Well, possibly, but it might have made it. It did make it. Okay, not too bad.
You can actually aim that a little bit lower, and it has a little bit of wiggle room, but if you aim high, like, it definitely is much more punishing.
Richard, meanwhile, there's I think this is kind of right now death by 1,000 cuts for Richard. He was around 46 seconds behind a bit earlier before the mini boss even happened, but right about now that's definitely widening a little bit with these mistakes. It looks like Rivid did get his key dupe with no problem, dropping your keys into the door at the top of Ginso here and then dying before the door without actually fully opening the door allows you to get those keys duplicated as long as you have your save in the right place. So he got that. Now he's going to do a ghost door, and he's going to move on as Richard does finally pick up Bash.
Yeah, and that's he tried to go for the hyperspeed, but unfortunately was a little bit too late on the dash right there. You can kind of tell if you get hyperspeed or not by if you're in the middle of your dash, it's pretty much
low.
Shows, yeah, that's a bit low. Okay. All right, Richard got on that one. You could tell because like if you're in the middle of your dash animation and the save drops during the middle of that, you pretty much got hyperspeed 100%. So then you can try going for it on your respawn.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's a pretty cheap trick to attempt. Oh
no. Okay, so he's gonna retry it.
And yeah, he is reloading the file so we can retry. This is probably, if you pull it off on your second attempt, it is probably faster to do this rather than go do the right side corruption room. But the intent here is to get the level up and have your explosion from leveling up.
Oh no.
Oh, the early kill on the frog too. You don't want to see this time loss from Rivid, but at the same time, you can see that Richard is actually still so far behind that, you know, Rivid still has an advantage here.
Yeah. Oh, Richard, please.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now, too. Okay, he manages to get that keystone. He has 1 health right now because he's setting up for his ghost door. But
yeah, that was pretty spooky. But in the
Rivid
end,
was able to pull off his core skill, so no problem for him. He's moving on to the escape.
Awesome. Yeah. In the end, for Richard, this was Fane. So let's see how he does with the mini boss right here. He's doing a little interesting strat. I've actually never seen someone try that where they kind of angle themselves a little upward and fall back into the bash range, but he didn't get, unfortunately, all of the orb drops, so he had to fall down and pick them up anyway. But it was a really interesting strategy. I don't think I've seen that from anybody else.
Indeed. Oh, Richard coming in here at what appears to be 1 health, which, of course, is never particularly fun. But we are looking currently at a deficit of around a minute. depending on Richard's core skip right here. So he's got his frog in position, and he's able to break the door. Now he's just kind of making sure that he doesn't get killed, collecting his XP, and he is able to set up his core skip properly as Rivid finishes the escape. So the difference between them is approximately the length of the escape, which is around a minute. So
oh, he's doing the waterless. Oh boy.
I forgot.
Here we go.
I forgot that he did this. So this is actually slower, unfortunately. So it sets him back a little bit time-wise. But yeah, the water's not going to fall him through the escape. So if he does make a mistake that causes him to drop and lose some of his height, he's not going to get immediately killed by the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely a safe strat that I believe only Richard does. Does anybody else actually actively do that strat?
At least in the tournament, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Mostly because like when you get pretty comfortable with the movement in the escape, it's really hard for something to kill you. There are a couple spots that can really lose you time, but it's more so time loss than actually dying. There's a couple like spike area like right that Richard just passed, and then the spider like area where you try to deflect the shot is also kind of a scary area.
Indeed. So Richard and Rivid are high-fiving right now as Rivid is making his way to the drainless trick, where he's going to put a save on the edge of this ledge. He's going to open it and learn an ability while stomping in midair, and that's going to allow him to break this underwater blockage. Looked like a good setup there, and no problem for Rivid. Good. So he's going to be moving on out of the swamp.
Yep, and he's going to be going towards Charge Flame and Kuro cutscene skip, and if I see this correctly, the amount of average for getting it or not is 0.64 for the group.
Indeed.
And so it's pretty good. That's a pretty solid success rate overall. And it's definitely like a very finicky setup to learn and to get. So we'll see if both these guys can get it.
Wow, that did not look quite good to me, but Rivid pulled it off. So hey, like whatever.
He's like, works, I'm not questioning this right now.
Okay, so Rivid is going for a 5th HP. I'm actually not sure he was doing this previously, but he is opting for a little safety here. So this is actually going to even out with Richard's previous time investment for his health cell. But of course, the deficit is a lot more than 8 seconds right now. So Richard's going to need a little more than that.
So the final status on Rivid as he goes towards the end of the mid game and going into the late game is he's deciding to go 5 health and 4 energy, which is an interesting setup that not a lot of people actually do. A lot of people who opt for the 5th health also opt for the 5th energy for an extra safety save, but he's deciding not to.
Yeah, it's a really interesting choice. I can't at all say that I disagree with it. Getting the 5th energy cell is actually fairly risky for, depending on your level of confidence at that movement. Whereas getting the extra health cell is pretty straightforward. And even if you miss your movement to get it, Rivid.
No, Rivid's fine. Wait, okay, good. He realized he's okay, but he's not gonna have air dash for this area right here. He can drop another save. He can drop a save. There's a. All right, he's gonna drop it right there.
He just does it right here, no problem. Yeah, that's basically the exact backup. On Richard's side, we're seeing that he did not get the Kuro cutscene skip. He has actually not successfully gotten it in the tournament so far, so that's going to continue here, unfortunately. Okay, everything's fine. No, it's all good.
All right, yeah. That was.
I mean, just to finish up that thought about the health cell, like it's fairly straightforward movement to get that 5th health cell, either one you take. Whereas the 5th energy cell, you have a decent chance of dying if you try to go take it. So, not a bad play on his part.
Yeah. And Richard opted for the 5th energy, so he's going to be able to drop an extra safety save in some of these upcoming splits, which as the person who's behind... Oh, no, Rivid just died. Oh, boy. Well, this race just got a lot closer because
that is absolutely one of the most dangerous areas in the run, so dying there is unfortunately not super surprising. And the thing that Rivid might not fully appreciate is that because he dropped that extra save earlier on, he will need to save at the Spirit Well right after getting feathers. So he actually could just drop any number of extra safety saves along the way, including at the bottom of that shaft, and that would certainly help prevent further time loss from that particular death. So hopefully he'll think to do that this time.
But I mean, that bird is that bird just proved the reason why we call it the keeper of Fastompolis, because that thing has killed many a PB, and it is unfortunate.
All right, he's able to make it through this time, so he's going to move on. He will be going for Fastompolis. He makes a save before beginning his ascent. He's going to be trying to aim a shot from this spider off into the distance. Looks fairly good. Now he's going to deload the ground. Oh my goodness, he gets it!
Oh boy, that was super close. I thought because he let it go for too long that he wasn't gonna make it, and two, like to make it up to the Bash Lantern. But secondly, I thought he was gonna be too late on getting over to the ability cell.
Yeah. Whew. So Richard coming into the same spot. The difference is actually only around 40 seconds now, thanks to Rivid's death earlier. Rivid is going to now take the Spirit Well save, as Richard made a save at the bottom of this shaft, so he was not looking to take that same costly death, and he will not be going for Fastompolis. So he's going to lose some theoretical time here, but of course, you know, if you go for a trick that you're not comfortable with.
Clever little setup for Richard right there. He drops a save.
Goodness, and then he dashes directly into spikes.
Oh, nice. He did the little rocket jump right there. And really, you can only do that with that setup right there once you get charge dash. That's like his setup is the only time you can actually be able to do that rocket jump. So that's a pretty swag rocket jump.
Meanwhile, Rivid is working his way into Sorrow Pass immediately. He had no problems with Sorrow Bash whatsoever. In his previous runs, he had taken 2, 2, and 1 attempt respectively. So he's continuing with some pretty solid success rate on Sorrow Bash, and that is definitely going to help out.
That was the highest of value of safety saves for Rivid right there.
Absolutely, and he made sure to pick up the extra energy earlier in Sorrow Pass so that he could drop that save, and that absolutely saves you a ton of heartache compared to taking that death and going all the way back to Valley and being tied with Richard at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. So Rivid's doing Frog Juggle right here. This frog is, well, he is simultaneously the biggest bro in the run and also one of the biggest jerks because he just does what he pleases. He's like Dr. Mundo in League of Legends. He just goes where he pleases.
Looks like no problem for Rivid, though. He also got his rocket jump all the way to the top, and that was actually a very good rocket jump. Richard, meanwhile, is beginning his Sorrow Bash. He is going for the 2-bird setup, which is not going super well for him so far. And unfortunately, one thing about the 5 health is that you have 5 health and you mess up Sorrow Bash, you often have to take a death in order to reset it. And that requires taking 2 hits instead of 1, so it's slightly more costly. But he does make it in now.
Oh!
He managed to interrupt his rocket jump. That was a little bit weird.
So I guess the interaction there is that right before that area, there's no winds until you get there. But since he was holding feathered, when he got to a place where he could actually he could actually use the wind and reset his vertical velocity. So I've actually never seen that interaction before, but that actually does make a lot of sense with how that's supposed to work.
Oh goodness, Richard getting sniped in the face by the frog. Rivid has picked up charge jump, so he's making his way out. He is coasting through the section of Sorrow Pass. Richard rekindles his save and takes an intentional death so that he can reset the frog's HP. So that is not an accident. He took that death intentionally. Rivid is almost all the way out here. He managed not to die to the spikes. Richard having an unfortunate series of mishaps here with his low health count. Frog is just giving him a tough time. Interesting. Rivid is going for the new XP route.
Yeah, a lot of people, well, I would say a lot of the top runners have been opting for that route when they go 5 energy, but I mean, he doesn't have it with 5 energy, so it's an interesting choice. I am totally okay with this because you get a free refill at the Misty mini boss, which is always really nice. Oh!
Okay, good safety save by Rivid. He was able to anticipate Misty was gonna, you know, be pretty risky, so he made a safety save right as he got in there, so that helped out a lot.
By the way, can we run it back? Can you please pronounce again what you called that section of Sorrow Pass that he was gliding through?
I can't pronounce that now.
Oh damn! Unfortunate. It sounded correct. I just was wondering the correct pronunciation.
I don't even know. No one knows. No one can pronounce that. Rivet is coming into this Atsu Torch cutscene, so he's making good progress here. Richard, unfortunately, had a fair bit of trouble with the frog juggle, so that is going to cause a very significant difference. We're told by the truck that it's around 2 minutes right now. So I don't want to say it's totally out of the realm of possibility, but it's highly likely to be out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's really starting to get when the later game, unless Rivid really does a lot of mistakes here in the second half of Misty, which definitely can happen. Once he gets past this area, he's a lot more in the clear than before. So there's only a few areas that are really costly deaths, maybe about 2 or 3 areas. But Misty is a harsh mistress and can ruin some stuff. Oh
good
my.
lord. Yeah, Rivet demonstrating that right now, but he's got the 5 health, which is a great choice on his part, and he also dropped a safety save there, so he's not afraid to throw some of his energy at saying, you know what, I'm gonna lose a bit of some C dashes, but I'm going to be able to make a save and not get caught in the Misty Infinite. At least that way you make some progress and you lock it in. Oh, good lord, please.
So, okay, an important thing to note right there. So him taking 5 health and doing that safety save before was super important, because if you have 4 HP, he would have died right there on that stomp. But because he took a 5th one, when you do your double, like the double regroup efficiency thing where you can get 2 health instead of 1, it brings you back to 4 instead of 3, which a 3 would still kill you. So just showing the value of 5th health cell right there and there.
So Rivet right now is coming into the mini boss. He was a little short on energy, but he is going to be fine. He picked up the energy drop beforehand. He actually went for the boom 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 quick kill. Didn't quite get it, but he got something close enough. So he is finishing up Misty very successfully and getting that level up as Richard is just entering Misty. So that's going to be a pretty likely insurmountable deficit for Richard right now. There's not a lot of room for bad things.
Sorry, Richard also dropped the same safety save that Rivid did as well, and Richard's having a little bit of trouble with the Frankie. He actually doesn't know the backup rocket jump strat.
Well, I think he's out of energy, and that was his problem right there.
Oh, okay. No, because he just did a charge dash. Now he's got energy. He just doesn't know the backup.
Well, I think he's probably out of energy now. Well, no, he's got to save. All right.
Now he's out of energy, as we just saw.
Yeah, I think he was trying to make sure that he had enough energy for those saves. Richard at least wants to be able to finish the run in a reasonable amount of time, and that's definitely a way to guarantee that.
Yeah. I mean, he can still PB off this run, because remember, his PB is a 41.22, and I think he can still do it. I think his PB, if I remember correctly, has a lot of spaghetti in the second half of Misty, so if he makes it pretty clean, like, he might be able to.
Goodness, that death for Rivid. Fortunately, it's not super costly because you already have to make the save in order to get the door opening glitch, so not too bad. Just a little bit, surprising and unfortunate. He's going to wait for this laser cycle now.
Yeah, he decided not to do the Joker cycle. It's definitely hard to get consistent down, so definitely a smart decision to just take it slow. Might as well. He knows he probably has a little bit of a time to spare.
And one more save anywhere glitch to skip that last cutscene, which is around 70 seconds long, and no promise for him. Richard is going to make his way through the post-climb section of Misty with an unfortunate death there, but not really going to make too much of a difference. He is going to be pretty far behind right now. Rivid is coming back out of Light Grenade. It's around 4 minutes from the Light Grenade pickup until the end of the game, whereas it's around 7 from Climb until the end of the game, so yeah.
Yeah. It's probably a case closed at this point, unless Rivid has a lot of issues with the heading up to Horu part. But that's
Or, you
after
know,
that.
like
It's
200th try door warp.
200 try door warp. You fail fish strats like 5 times. We had one race where that almost happened. So
I think we just saw a wrong teleport from Rivid.
did we?
You can see his mouse waving around. Yep, he went right on back to hologram.
Hi Glades, how are
sorry,
you doing
Glades.
today?
That's always good. You know, you just want to check on those areas of the game. You know, kind of remember, like, how's this area doing? Rivid or Richard, really making work of that slime, and taking a death, but he made a save right there, no problem.
Yeah, he is. Man, these guys are really proving how good the safety saves and the extra health is helping him. Yep, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Right again.
Everything on both sides is absolutely fine.
Definitely. I think you can see there's a little bit of nerves on Richard's side. Oh yeah, he's trying to cut corners too much now. You can tell there's a little bit of nerves starting to happen for Richard. And unfortunately, yeah, he's trying to make up some time. And okay, he did it correctly that time. Let's see if he gets up there and he makes a safety save before the mini boss.
Yeah, let's see how his mini boss goes. He's missed the energy, but he gets some damage on there with a charge jump. Manages to take out the second worm and the first one, so it worked out all right.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Rivid is coming in on door warp. He does not get it first try. He previously has taken 2, 4, and 1 attempts in his races, so this one doesn't look like 2 either. But 3 is the number that he wants, so there you go.
Very nice.
Barring any spectacular walling on the part of fish strats, Rivid is going to take this race in just a few minutes here. So you can't really, you know, I don't want to say anything too negative about Richard here after all, because, you know, he has put up a pretty okay performance here in the sense that anytime that he had, you know, a bit of spaghetti start to creep in, I think he's really done a good job of settling down. And I think in the near future, we could be seeing another PB out of him, which would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely can wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, outside of a couple issues, I think Sorrow is the biggest thing with Frog Juggle. Like, if you remove that, it's honestly a pretty good run compared to his PB. So it's definitely something I think he'll be proud of. Especially since he hasn't been able to get as much practice time as he would want. And Rivid is going for fish strats. Oh, he's not.
No, he faked it out. He wanted to, and it didn't quite work out. So he's going for the normal, plain old ascent. He's going to bash off of some boulders and dash into the trigger, and now he just needs to hold right to claim his victory. So congratulations to Rivid on winning his prelimination match, which will, after a fashion, put him up against... I'm going to remember who this is.
It's going to be Sigma in there.
That one, yeah. That one.
Yep. So it'll be Rivid versus Sigma, which will be interesting because Sigma, as he is in the top 5 and has a sub 33 time, he has sometimes had a little bit of issue with like in a couple of races like outside. So sometimes you don't know what Sigma is. I doubt that he'll get anything above like a 35, which is pretty much like what Rivid would have to get in order to have a shot. But definitely it's not 100% for certain, especially as we have seen with some of the races just today.
Well, that is definitely for sure. I mean, it's Ori, so anything can happen any race. But of course, when you're talking about numerical probabilities, there's a very substantial weight in favor of Sigma in that sort of race. And Rivid will cross the finish line. It's a 38:33, a very good time when your PB is 36.5. Anything within just a couple minutes of your PB, as we've been saying, is really solid in this game.
Yeah, definitely. But again, like we said at the start of this race, like if he can get something within a couple minutes of his PB, that's really good because he just recently got his 36, and you know, for him to continue to get that around that consistently is definitely hard. Oh, nice adjustment by Richard right there.
Opting to kill the lava elemental there, or the turret, or whatever the heck it's called. Always feels good to do that. Those things are really rude.
Yes, agreed. That's why I kill him every single time. He deserved it. So, or it deserved it. Can't assume gender. I'm sorry.
So Richard will be coming into Door Warp now, and we'll see how many attempts it takes him. In his previous races, it's been pretty rough. There was a 4 try, there was a 2 try, and then there was an 8 try. You really don't want those 8s. On average in the tournament, we're looking at 2.7 attempts. Or I should say in this division.
Yeah.
That's 2 so far.
Just a reminder for, as opposed to the lava skip, you have to get it within, I believe it is 7 tries in order for it to be worth it. So Richard's done 4 so far, and he's deciding to mash. That's why you can see those like backup files like starting to go after he's loading in. So he's done 6.
Not quite so far. 7. Oh boy. You know, I'm just gonna stop counting it out loud at least, and hopefully that will. Well, there you go, 8. So literally the exact thing that I just said. You really don't want that 8, but Richard got the 8. So my apologies.
Impeccable timing, Bulligen. It's impressive.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy. So let's see if he can get through. And Richard, please do fish strats. He might actually go for it now that he could probably see the SRL race and knows that he's lost. So maybe he'll go for fish strats and give the fans what they want.
That would be the first time he would have tried it in a tournament race. I'm not sure if he's ever tried it in his own runs, but in the tournament so far, neither of these runners, in fact, has actually gone for fish strats. So Rivid was even faking us out there, as he has not done it before in the tournament either. We'll see. Looks like he has dumped a fair bit of energy, but he should still have one left.
I think so, yeah. If I was counting.
Are we gonna see it? Are we gonna see it?
Oh, come on. Oh, he's... Oh! He was trying to bait the fishy, and then unfortunately the fishy dumped him a little bit right there.
Oh my goodness. I cannot even tell exactly what he thought was gonna happen there, but I can tell what did happen. And
I think he thought he was trying to bait the fish strats like you would do in Thornfelt Swamp, but unfortunately there's fire here, not water.
Our truck thinks he was just trying to kill it. He just wanted to, you know, poke us all in the eyes. We're here looking for our, you know, our swag. He just wanted to say, no, I will give you no swag. Oh, here we go. Here we go. He charge flamed it. He gets the kill.
Oh, no. Fishy.
And now he is moving up the final climb. Why not?
That was some cold blood, man. That fishy never did anything to him.
Wow.
Oh,
well,
man.
Richard did say, so in this race, there were 2 goals. And Rivid's goal was to win a race, which he has accomplished. Richard's goal was to accomplish good production quality, and we have gotten that.
We have gotten good production quality. And he is actually gonna be around like about 2 minutes and 10 seconds behind his PB or something around there, which is still pretty good for Richard. It is also under his average time for the tournament. So GG to both these guys. They both did very similar to their PBs, and that was a very, very fun race.
Agreed. Just early on, seeing those you know, the back and forth lead changes was fascinating, because you don't necessarily expect a runner with, you know, a 41.5 to be that close with a runner with a 36.5. But sometimes, you know, different runners have different parts of the game that they've been able to focus on, been able to get better at. And in this case, Richard was showing us like his early game is not bad. It's not something to scoff at.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree with that. Oh, a nice couple Naru jumps at the end right there. And Richard finishes with a 43.39. Congrats to both these guys. And congrats to Rivid. Specifically, he'll be moving on to the round of 32 to go up against Mr. Sigmason.
That's right.
Number 1 seed from their group and the number 3 seed overall. So as you can see right here with our lovely bracket overlay.
Oh, it looks lovely.
Oh, beautiful. with our friend Gumo right there.
So we are going to be looking forward this coming week to the match between Sigma and Rivid. I'm sure it will be as entertaining as this one was, I hope, as long as Sigma doesn't pull out too much spaghetti. But we will see. And man, there's a lot of good action coming up this week. Let me pull up that schedule.
Yeah, so I've got it up here right now. So the next matches that we have going on are on Monday, this coming Monday, the 27th. Our first match is between the Roos's Loose 89 and Chicken Supreme in actually in the Kuro, which is my division. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And later on that night, we are going to be having Lucidus 16 against Meldon Tarragon at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's in the Naru division as well. That is a 1 versus 4 matchup, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, and I will actually be doing that one with Roos himself.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hype. And then coming up on Tuesday, we will be finishing up our pre-elimination matches. So we've gotten through 3 of the 4. We were hoping to complete them this weekend, but due to runner availability, we have our 4th and final pre-elimination match on Tuesday night at 11 p.m. EDT. That is UTC -4 if you're familiar with time zones, which UTC is fantastic. But that will be between Fent and Rasmus. And Fent, of course, is the the runner who said that his goal is to make it to the finals and defeat Hetfield there while claiming the world record. And well, most of that can't happen because he will have to face Hetfield if he wins this race in the first place. But first, he has to beat Rasmus. So we're gonna see on Tuesday night.
Yep, exactly. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up, guys. As always, follow Speed Gaming. They have a lot of cool tournaments on here. They got some Mega Man stuff. The Shovel Knight finals are going to be coming up here soon, which after that one earlier is pretty hype between Smoggy and Munchakoopas. And they've got some good stuff going on here a lot of the time. So thank you very much, guys. Do you have anything else to add, Vula, before we sign off?
No, man, I think that's going to do it for us tonight.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we will see you next time with the Ori All Skills Tournament. I hope you all have a great night. See you later.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. He's going to kill it far, far away from this door where he actually needs to level up. And then he's going to dash to the door, the XP chasing him, he gets the energy, he opens the door, and that is amazing.
Exactly. I think it's probably one of the most stupid threats that we have.
Oh, goodness, Monkley with the dodge. That was...
I like floating laser turret, which you can imagine what that is. But yeah, I think they didn't mean for anybody to ever see these. Did you just see what Rufus did in that key?
I have never seen that. Is that faster?
Is that faster?
And it's very rewarding as well. Oh no!
Oh, he makes it! Wow.
Oh my god,
That was so close. Holy.
For the 5th energy, so it's going to put a temporary gap in between them, but it's going to. Oh my gosh!
What a nice adaptation to save it. Races, and you watch someone who doesn't get the rocket jump up towards Sunstone, you might see them.
Whoa! He actually knocked that frog into the wall. He thought he was completely done for, but
He said, "I just don't want to die because if you don't save and you die here, it's real bad." So he's going to be taking a save.
Wow, so Trojan got the shot. His shot looked extremely high, but he got it, and that's going to practically level this race right now.
Yeah, as you can see, they're now in the same cutscene, and Terra has to go up to the spirit well.
That's really where you're supposed to need all this wind without using the wind. He also went for a ridiculously risky trick there, where he skipped through that.
Spent like 4 minutes in door.
oh Oh, Meldon, can he make it back to the lane? What a beautiful charge dash from Meldon to save himself. That was absolutely insane. And yes, please take that safety save.
All he has to do here is get to the end of the game. That's his only target, whereas Cheese is on his way to Misty Woods. He's going to be going to wow.
Oh, Raziel, no!
Oh my God,
Raziel, no!
I can't believe it.
Oh my God.
Think about that. So, just little things like that. Strategy getting to. Oh goodness. Oh, the laser. Oh God.
Oh, man.
Coming out of.
Melvin, first miss for Melvin, second miss for Riven. Third attempt, Riven misses on the third attempt. Melvin misses it on the second attempt. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Riven, fourth attempt, misses. Melvin gets it on the third attempt, and he takes the lead for the first time.
got it!
But Riven gets it as well. I'm losing my mind here because they're actually going to come down. Execution on the final escape.
Dropping falling trees and boulders, and the whole time Kuro, the main villain, is chasing you, and you have to escape. Wait. Oh no, he bonks unfortunately. Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's
This is so close to time. It's a really swag strat that only saves 2 seconds and has the potential to lose you over a minute.
He's going for it again.
He's going for it again. The absolute madman.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh no!
Brindle's in the lead! Guys, okay, let's see if Brindle goes for fish strats. If he just plays it safe, he has this in the bag. He can't lose from here. He's not doing fish strats. Brindle's got this.